What's up guys, True Monarch here, and this is our first place locals deck profile.
Hello guys, hey. So the thing is, I played Sky Strikers, and by now you're probably bored and sick and tired of Sky Strikers. It's been meta for a year, and you're like, just ban this shit already. But it's a nice deck. To be honest, I find it to be the fairest deck in the meta. You know, Salamangreat is just... This deck needs a lot of thinking, and it's not an easy deck. You know, you have to maintain one monster and sit on this one monster and whittle away your opponent's resources. So it's good in a meta environment, but it's tough in a rogue environment. So where I play, there's Cosmos, there's Paleozoics with that main stuff like Anti-Spell and Imperial Order and all these cards, you know? Or decks that make Fury Beast, or decks that 60 card Dark Warrior decks that Curious send Imperial Order to grave so they can set it back with Griffin. Or we have Thunder Dragons as well, you know? We have Thunder Dragons that solid 3 EVs against you, you know?
True.
I remember once I lost 5 spell back row, and 2 cards in hand, including an engage, to 1 EEV. And the opponent had nothing in hand and 2 monsters on the field. An Avenir and a Colossus, I think, or something. And they had no right to win.
Won him?
He won me, you know? He had no right to win that game, but he only won me because he had EEV, which is like Konami's way, I guess, of nerfing this deck without outright banning it. So yeah, let's get into it. I tried to make it as flexible as possible to beat the rogue matchups, because as I said, this deck does as well against meta, but against rogue, stuff like Cosmos. Cosmos are the bane of your existence, you know?
True.
So yeah, so obviously, boring. 3 Rays, best card, I love this card so much, it's an amazing card. The art, this entire deck, how it plays, the art of it, the whole concept is just... It's really nice. It's really nice.
It's a masterpiece.
It is, and there's a reason Konami hasn't hit it not yet.
No pun intended.
There's a reason it's not been hit yet, because this deck does not lock you out of your extra deck. It does not extra link you. It does not drop a floodgate monster like Colossus on you. It does not do unfair things. The only things it does that are unfair are multi-roll, in my opinion. You need engage to draw and not be once per turn, because this deck literally plays with 1 monster. You know, like, what if you remove engage? Okay, but then what? Just gonna kill you with the Kagaris? Of course not. Yeah. Multi-roll is the unfair card, yes. Spellbook of Judgment obviously is not fair. And if you want to balance the deck without outright killing it, limit or ban multi-roll, sure, I don't mind that. But don't limit Kagari and don't limit engage. You just destroy the consistency of the deck, and it's really unfair.
Some people say Kagari at 1 with Pot of Avarice back would be good. What's your
that's the
thought on
OCG,
that?
but I still think like having Pot of Avarice to shuffle back your materials, it's a workaround that's like you're just reaching over your head like this just to get it, which is not really optimal. Alright? So yeah, so these 3. Then for hand traps, surprisingly I should play more. I know people play a lot of hand traps, I don't. I play 3 Ash, most generic one, and you play it at 3 compared to the rest because you want to see it the most, and it's the most universal hand trap. I used to play DD Crow, it was amazing, but I cut it down recently because sometimes DD Crow is amazing, obviously, against Salamangreats, which we have a lot of Salamangreats over here. Obviously, it's a cheap meta deck, everyone wants to play it.
Of course.
But this, it's not once per turn. DD Crow is not once per turn, but I know. Not once per turn, it's really good. It hits stuff like Crusadia Guard Dragons, which are really annoying, you know. I interrupted that guy, and literally last week I had the DD Crow against Crusadia Guard Dragons. It's obviously not the best hand to stop the Crusadia Guard Dragons, and I hit their Draco, I think it was their Draco. They tried to revive it back with the red MD. And they're like, oh, the player was really pissed and stuff. Then he's like, okay, summon Gamma Seal with Saryuja and just sit on Gamma Seal. And literally, the Gamma Seal won him the game. Infinite negates are banished. You don't get spells in your grave. So you can't accumulate advantage, you just lose. Mindless decks like that, they get really annoying, and Veiler is much better against them. Then, the different choice that I don't see many people doing, this was popular when the Sky Strikers were going second versions, yeah. Pankratops. This card is amazing. Playing it in the main, I do not regret it whatsoever. I started maining this last week. I went up against an Altergeist player who activated Spellcaster Village with an Altergeist plus an Imperial Order on me turn 1. And if I hadn't drawn this, I would have definitely lost that game. This card alone won me the matchup.
So you pancrat the order and made Clara Andrushka?
I killed the Altergeist monster, it was a Marionetter, so his Spellcaster Village was dead. Then I tributed the Pankratops to pop the Imperial Order, then I could play. It's amazing. Nice. This card is fantastic. Today, against Pendulums, they drop on you 2 Jackal Kings with 2 negates. summon it, kill one, pop the other, then negate it, sure, whatever, negate it, tribute, negate it. I'll just do my other plays. Then attack with, I had a array, you know, kill their harmonizing indigenous in defense, kill their Jackal King, pop the other, they'll negate it, sure, make a Gari, kill something, get an engage from grave or something. It's amazing. This card is fantastic.
I've seen some people play the one copy of the field spell, maybe with Foolish Burial Goods or
Oh yes, the Dino Wrestling.
World Dino
World
Wrestling.
Dino Wrestling. Yeah. I'm
Do you
not
like
so
that?
Sure. This
I mean,
deck,
let's say
believe it or not, this deck has consistency issues. You might not. You'll be like, oh, what Sky Strikers? They have 3 engage. How do they brick? Yes, they brick.
they can break.
They brick a lot, and
Let's
you need
say-
consistency cards to make your deck go. This would have usually this used to be strikes and warnings. Then it was called by graves, but then I realized that people are meaning a lot of hate for me, because you know anti-spell, Imperial Order. So like called by grave is not great. Plus there are Denkos. Today I got 2 Denkos dropped on me. You know, it's like you need stuff to counter the opponent that they will not expect. The opponent expects you to play back row. They expect you to play stuff in the back row, so they're gonna play stuff like Twisters, stuff like Denko to counter you. So you have to play stuff to counter the counter. So you play stuff that does not get affected by their counters, basically, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why Panctop is amazing. It's a big monster. It gives you more damage output and pops out problematic cards. Obviously. 3 engage, 3 widow. This is the Silkitas of Sky Strikers. If you remove Silkitas for Alter guys, they can't play. It's their teeth, so to speak, their fangs. You remove this, the Sky Strikers has no fangs. You remove Silkitas, Alter guys don't have fangs, basically. This is the consistency card. This is how Sky Strikers will win you. Through resolving this with 3 spells in grave. But the thing is, they need it to play. Remove this at 2, they already break, now they break even more. Limit this, and this deck's probably tier 3 or something. I don't know. We don't have Pot of Avarice and stuff to recover resources, so yeah. So obviously 3-3. Max out on consistency. Definitely max out on consistency. And
2
2
terraforming.
fields. Well, yeah. Some people play 2. No. You always want to see your engine going. You need your Ray. If you need these for Ray. Obviously this is a god card. This is just like
And then you send this with this.
yeah,
to get
like
the
this
Ray.
is a combo. You know, you can get you send this to grave, get Ray, then your opponent cannot respond to any spells you control. It's crazy, you know. Like once opponent dropped the Cosmo Dark the Cosmo Dark Planet that negates spells. I had this already on the field. I sent something to grave, then activated engage. He's like negate. I was like, no, you can't, because I have multi-roll. You can't respond
Wow.
to my spells anymore. You know, that's how you stay in the game. It's really amazing, especially against stuff like Jury Beast and things like that.
Surprisingly, this used to be like previously with 3 Hornet. I actually used to play only 1 copy of this, and I've
Yeah.
1 copy was a popular ratio.
Yeah,
At least from what I
the
saw.
meta game changed a lot. You know, the meta game changed. It became much faster. You have things like Thunder Dragon, Guard Dragon, Danger, Chaos Dragon stuff. I don't know, good stuff that got deck. You know, that deck is very unfair, by the way. I love the concept.
It is
It's
very
really,
unfair.
It's really creative, and Jesse Cotton obviously innovated that deck a lot. But the thing is, it does very, very unfair things. You know, I'll get into it when I get to my matchups. So one-offs, obviously, and then I play 2 of this.
Unfortunately, a 1-off.
Yeah. To be honest, I prefer Ray 100% over this, obviously. But this gives you consistency, and they hit us when they hit this.
Of course.
This is an amazing card. I love this card so much. You can see they Pancratops from the grave and pop their stuff. You can see a Tyranno from the grave, and I think can you see a Tyranno? I'm not sure. But you can
I
see the
mean-
Pancratops. I've done this twice. Still stolen Pancratops twice in 1 game.
If you.
Because
Well, Tyranno has a restriction actually.
yeah. But probably you can. But you can see other stuff. You know, it's like Pancratops, amazing, amazing card. These 2, they give you the tempo push you need. Pop 1 monster, pop a back row, pop a monster. You go 2 for 1, and it's really great. Obviously, Sky Striker players know this, and this is old knowledge by this point.
Draco's worst nightmare.
Yeah, this is how
Yeah, I
won
played
games
Draco's today.
Pop 2 cards, Dracos, they lose all their advantage, even after resolving demise. This, we don't have Sky Strikers, I'm the only Sky Striker player here, because obviously it's an expensive deck, plus people don't want to invest in a deck that's probably going to get hit soon, by the end of April. So, even though there aren't Sky Striker mirrors, this card is amazing because it keeps you in the game. Plus, it's really good against Rogue. So what do I do against Salamangreat? If I manage to get Top Logic Bomber, make Top Logic Bomber and set this, they cannot play. They literally cannot play. activate this, they can't out your topologic bomber, and if they try to link into like a Jaguar into under Sunlight Wolf, it'll be blown up. They want to protect with Banelings, sure, they're protected once, but they can't keep summoning into zones. It's really difficult for them to fight this. And this plus topologic bomber has won me so many Salamangreat teams. They never see it coming. Obviously, consistency, and some people cut this. Don't cut this. This card is amazing. You see this, you're in the game. If you open in your opening hand, you see this, you're in the game.
Why do you play 2 then?
Because if you want, the thing is, it can brick. You know, people used to play 3 with this. I used to
play 3.
Yeah, you know. But now, this will, if you draw many of these, you'll brick. Because trust me, the amount of times I've shuffled this and drawn it of its own effect is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so play 2 of this.
I was a live witness.
Yes, please, yes. This is amazing. I really miss Upside Goblin, but obviously you can't have 3 Upside Goblins. Everybody will play 37 card decks. Rota is best searcher card in the entire game almost.
Dracos can have 4 upstarts. I'll get to that shortly. Maybe in another video.
Alright. And then I used to play Twisters in the main, but I removed them for MSTs because I think it was Paulo De Silva, I think that's his name. Sorry if I don't know if I got your name incorrectly. But he won the 3v3 YCS and he kept topping, he kept winning, actually not topping, he kept winning so many events in a row, maining MSTs. And I was always of the mind to try this when I first picked up the deck, but I felt that I needed the Twin Twisters because it allows you to out multiple things and send the spells to grave. But I realized that no, you actually need your cards to play. This is much better. So they activate an anti-spell, you have to waste 2 cards just to out one anti-spell. You pop the one anti-spell. And this actually came up last week.
Haven't you considered Cosmic Cyclone? I guess
wait,
time.
But Cosmic Cyclone, yes. It's too situational.
But
It's
yet
too
again,
situational. And it's not quick.
Salamangreats, I mean, they can recur the stuff.
Yeah, and it's not quick effects.
Or
You need
let's
quick
say
effects.
Cyclone the one Sanctuary. Wouldn't that really cripple them?
I don't think so. This day won me a game against Salamangreats. I had there can be only one, and they kept popping their rage. I didn't let them resolve the rage. They'd set it back, pop it. You can't rage my there can be only one. That's how you win. And obviously, 2 impermanents. I might bump this up to 2. I'm not sure. I might remove a Pankratops maybe, or I'll see what I remove. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll remove a drone Eagle Booster. I'll prefer not to, because if you go against combo decks and you don't have an out, you're usually dead. Except sometimes when you actually outplay them. Alright, so that's 40 cards, then extra deck. Obviously, this is pretty boring by this point. 3. I need one more ultimate of this. And 1 Kaina.
One Kaina. Have you ever wanted to Kaina?
Yes, actually saved me today. Against Master Cerberus, who had like 5,500 attack. Make this stop him from attacking.
Wow.
And actually won me the game. I had 15 life points against Pendulums. And because he could not kill me through these 50 life points, I sold all of monster and killed him next turn. And he was my brother, he was really salty.
50 life points?
50 life points.
Wow.
Yes. It's just insane. It was an insane match. Then this is where the Smash Tracker decks differ. I played this. Very good. Obviously, it's a link to it's very easy to make. This one, I'm noticing that I'm not really making this one. I might cut this for Hita, because people are playing Hita now, and it's actually really good against Salamangreat.
Yeah, it's amazing. You can shuffle your opponent's
But
Garnet.
this is yes, he's done this before.
I'll get to that Kain in a bit.
Yeah,
Maybe
this-
another time.
Outs stuff that can be targeted. It outs Colossus, it outs Cosmo ships, it outs stuff that can be targeted. Boral Sword, obviously, it's a
You can't play
game
without it.
ender, but the thing is, I don't always make this. For you to be able to easily get a Boral Sword on the field, you need to be facing an opponent that's playing Link 2s. Why do you need Link 2s? Obviously, you have your Kagari, you have a Widow Anchor, you steal a Link 2, then you need another monster, you make 4 monsters, but then you need a 5th monster to be able to change the defense to be able to end the game with your opponent. And if you face Dracos, for example, they don't have links. If you face Cosmos, they don't have links. You know, so it's really tough. So Cosmos, obviously, you steal their ships from the cave with the Shark Cannon. So as my preferred boss monster, Bomber is my preferred boss monster. This card is amazing. This card is really good. And people have been using Hercules Space to attack twice and do 6,000 damage. I'm seriously considering that combo, but I'm still facing consistency issues, and Hercules Base would not improve my consistency. I'd have to cut 1 Eagle Booster for it.
I mean,
So,
I
yeah.
really liked Hercules Base because, I mean, I used to recur all of my resources, just like the Disciples to Draco.
yes,
Disciples.
but I've noticed that I don't really need it. Like my deck is so powerful that I don't even need the Hercules Blade to recur my
I
resources.
mean, back then I didn't have Boris Sword. I mean,
Yeah.
for a while it wasn't out either. So games went into time more than they should.
Definitely, they still do. Today, my only draw was to time. It was really annoying. So as for side deck, this and this for going first. I need to get third one. This card's amazing. This card literally, you flip this on Thunder Dragon, they say, "Screw my life, I can't play Yu-Gi-Oh!" And they deserve it. Like I'm one of the people who actually despise floodgates, but the amount of floodgates I've had to be on the receiving end of has truly soured my taste and soured my experience in Yu-Gi-Oh! And forced me to play floodgates. In my opinion, all floodgates should be banned in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I know this is probably an unpopular opinion, but the amount of times I've lost to Anti-Spell, the amount of times I've lost to not even in Sky Cycle, when you play other decks and you lose to floodgates, it's the worst feeling in the world. And I don't know why Konami keeps floodgates. I guess it's to balance meta decks. But then again, Konami, you know you can balance the decks before you release them, right? Anyway.
I don't think they do.
Yeah, but they've been doing really good. Konami has been doing really good recently. So yeah, summon limit going first. This going second or first. Today I resolved this against Salamangreats, and they could not kill it. I flipped one going second on them. They had a really tough time to kill. They set to rage, the next one they popped. And like, sure, I had another one in hand, activated. They're like, we can't really play. And while you stop your opponent, you start accumulating advantage, more and more advantage. And every time you try to activate a rage, I'll either MST it or Pancratops it or something. I always had a way to stop his rage, so he could not kill this. And I won through this alone. Going first or second, obviously you need to have stuff to remove problematic floodgates again, bane of this deck's existence. So you need to draw this out, anti-spell and stuff like this. But this is good for going first or second because you just set it and pop cards. And it's a trap, so anti-spell and Imperial Order does nothing to this. Plus 2 for 1, it's free.
The good part is if you set this and Widow Anchors going second against an anti-spell, if you pop the Widow Anchor, you can use the Widow Anchors.
Yeah.
But if you set your Widow Anchor, you can't use it until your next turn.
Yeah, it's really annoying. So the thing is, now this is a very temporary slot. I'm not sure if I should play this or not. Concealing Light is really nice, and the concept is really nice. The theory behind this, I've seen many people play this, and the theory behind this, at least in my opinion, you go against the Crusadia board with 15 million negates. You go against Thunder Dragons with Colossus and all this shit. What are the negates? They're non-link monsters. Their negates are Savage Dragon, Colossus, which is a fusion, things that can be flipped face down, you know? And obviously, if what's it called? Archfiend Abyss negates this. If we could, we would play Book of Eclipse. I would play Book of Eclipse in Spirals, for example. But in this, you can't play Book of Eclipse because you can't let them draw, and you don't have enough firepower to just end them immediately. So play this. This is good. If you can bait out the things that would negate this, you activate this, they can't flip their monster for 2 turns. You can just literally snipe them with Hayate for 2 turns and accumulate advantage while they can't play the game. Because if they have a monster that's in the extra monster zone, you flip it face down, they cannot out it because it's locked for 2 turns. You know, this is really good. If you lock certain placements on the field, they will be crippled. So this is, I'm still testing this. I've not had the chance to actually activate it to draw it, but in theory it's amazing. Then fuck you Thunder Dragons and fuck you Thunder Dragons. You play these cards. This is amazing as Dracos, obviously. Dracos died to this. This Orcus decks, Dark Warrior decks, Thunder Dragon decks. This is great against all of them. And in this deck I've noticed that playing stuff like Ogre or obviously Veiler and these you need to play them, but they're sometimes, most of the times they're not enough. You need floodgate-esque hand traps or stun hand traps. Yeah, these are them.
Hand traps.
Don't let them draw. Don't let them vanish. You get.
I've noticed you play a lot of 2-ofs.
Yes.
Haven't you preferred
No.
maybe making your side deck more focused and increasing the likelihood of seeing the card?
The thing is that, as I said, I play in a rogue environment, so I can't really. I can't just focus on 1 or 2 decks because you literally go against. From table 500 to table 1, you know, we have Thunder Dragons and Salamangreats, but we also have Dynamists, and we have Desk Bots, and we have some janky shit, you know. So you need to be able to have a versatile deck, and if you play 3 of these are once per turns. You don't want to draw with multiples of them. That's why you only play 3 Ash, because Ash is very important to have. Whereas Veiler is not once per turn, D Crow's not once per turn. I don't play, you know what I mean. and impermanence is not once per turn. So we're in a stage in Yu-Gi-Oh where you don't need once per turn cards. So yeah, that's the deck. As for matchups, game 1 was against Salamangreat. I went 2-0 against that. Game 1, he didn't have the best of hands. But I didn't have the best of hands either, but he scythed me, but it was not enough to maintain his advantage, so I just won him through that game. Game 2, there can be only one. He could not there can be one. It was absolute hell for him. He kept trying to pop it with the rage. I did not let him resolve the rage. Not a single way. Game 2 was my only
Game 2?
round 2 was against. Okay, this is gonna be fun. It's not funny. Dark Warrior, Thunder Dragon, Synchro. No, that's not a Synchro deck. Thunder Dragon, Dinosaur, something Guard Dragon deck. I do not know what the hell that deck was. It was a 60 card deck. Really creative, but really unfair. So he goes ahead. I don't have a single hand trap. He makes Hot Red Dragon Archfiend, the best, and the one that negates face-up cards. A Overtext that negates spells and traps. 2 Fog Blades, and a Hieratic Link. I didn't know that the Hieratic Link can bounce any card. I thought it was only monsters. So it's like he makes all this board, and he was 1 card away from making a Colossus. If he had made the Colossus, he would have won the game. That's how unfair Colossus can be, and you can see how unfair that card is, because given this board, I still won him. I outed his Overtext and his Fog Blades and everything he made, and I outgrinded his deck and I won him. It was absolutely beautiful. It was one of the best games I've ever played in my life. It showed you that a deck with 1 monster can out all of this craziness. It was literally 5 interrupts, 2 monster negates, 1 Omni negate, 1 spell trap negate, and a bounce. It's absolutely insane. It's a very scary board. I was this close to scooping, but then I was like, let's give it a shot. I had Rota and Engage and the Widow Anchor. That alone as a combo is amazing. You can bait out a lot of things. And I won it. Game 2, time, obviously. If I had 10 seconds more, I had 2 engage. I resolved the first engage, and I would have resolved the second engage to add a Widow Anchor and steal his monsters. Then I would have attacked for game because he had done some damage. But obviously, time takes time to engage and stuff. Yeah, he had Tyranno, BLS, and Ballsword. Yeah, really annoying. And Kaina saved me in that game. I Kaina'd his Ballsword, he couldn't attack me twice. So yeah, round 3 was against. What was my round 3 actually?
Dracos?
That was you. Yeah, I was against
Yep.
Dracos. That's true.
That was me.
That was an easy game. Sorry. Usually I have very tough time against him because he opens floodgates and he says no mistake and anti-spell. And once you're done with that, he's like, oh, have a go to enjoy as well. So yeah, I actually won that game because he didn't open the best of hands, but I had ways to out his board basically. Yeah. Game 2 against him, I also Pancratops, man. Pancratops is amazing. Pancratops was amazing against him in both games. I opened Pancratops, and it was absolutely fantastic. Okay, round 4 was against Pendulums. Oh my god, and the Pendulum game was insane. The Pendulum game was absolutely insane. Game 1, I had 50 life points left. I won. These 50 life points bought me enough time. Next turn, I stole all his monsters and attacked. And he was so upset about it. He was my brother. I felt really bad doing this to him. And he just couldn't, he just lost. Game 2, he won me game 2. Sorry, game 2, he had so much advantage and I didn't have the rest of hands. I just lost. He had multiple negates and stuff like that. Game 3 against him, time. Yeah. But I had enough of that. I had to resolve 2 engages. I had 2 with the anchors. And impermanence, Shizuku, and feed spell and multi. I was way ahead. So even if we did have to actually finish that game, I would have probably won that. So yeah, that's it basically. Hopefully we'll see how this deck goes with the ban list coming soon. The ban list is probably going to be by the end of April. And what do you think? Do you think they're going to hit it?
I mean,
Hit it badly at least.
multi-roll does deserve a nerf.
Yeah, it does.
Besides that, it would be unfair to the deck. I mean, it's a very beautiful deck. I sold it. The reason I sold this deck previously was because of Banlist Fear as well.
Yes, it was back in summer.
Back in summer, we had a visitor from the US, and I was like, it's either now or never.
Yes.
So yeah, anyone you want to give shoutouts to?
Ramsey, who lends me permanences, who's the Bill Gates of Multiverse.
of Multiverse.
But yeah, and I haven't engaged that board on my brother. So yeah, that's it. Actually, also a shout out to Ramsey because he deserved to win today. I was like, Okay, alright. Ramsey's being nice to me today.
What happened?
I don't know what happened, but actually, by his luck, actually helped. Yeah, I have to divide it. So yeah, thank you for watching
Dividers.
and subscribe, I guess.
Yeah, you heard the man. Hit like, subscribe if you haven't. I'll see you guys next time. True Draco deck profile incoming.
Oh no.
Oh no, spicy tech. You heard it here first, guys.